Test, test, 1, 2, 3. What's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing weekend. Hopefully that you guys are, ending it good. Today's Sunday. We normally host our live streams a little bit later for our Sunday stock talk. I'm going to be breaking down some top stocks that our group members see value in. All I ask you is if you're tuning on in live and you would like me to break down your stock, make sure in that live chat to share any stock that you would like me to break down in this live stream. I hope that I earned your thumbs up. I hope that you can consider subscribing if you feel like we earned it. We upload new videos every single day, and I even trade live right at market open. So if you even want to watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow, you can click the second link down below. I'm going to say what's up to a couple of people that are joining us live right now. So if you're joining live, feel free to say what's up, and I'd love to shout you out. So we got Luis Gomez, we got Lucas, what's going on? Flameboy, we got Blossom, how you doing? We got Blaze, Enrique, here we go, JP, Amoon, Cooper, let's see, Fabian, Jen, is that Sharky Diaz, what's going on? Lady Trader, what's up, what's up? Live in the moment. What's going on? So Ricky, it's Scott. What's going on, man? We got Orlando Robinson. There we go. What's going on? Matthew, Edwin, Chucky, Benjamin, Familia, Kent. Familia Santos. And then something Kent. What's up? What's up? Chucky's Draco, Charon. What's up, guys? AJ Locke. What's going on, guys? Columbia in the house. What's going on, JP? I appreciate you guys taking time out of your Sunday and just joining me. So I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. I'd be more than happy to go live and just break down your top stocks. So let's not overcomplicate it. If you have a stock that you would like me to break down, make sure that you share it in the live chat. Friendly reminder, as you guys begin to share your stock, it is so important for you to be aware that today is our last day for the staycation giveaway. So if you've wanted to enter, you definitely don't have to, but if you've wanted to enter, tonight is the last night. Today is August 7th, and at midnight we cut it off. We're going to be selecting 3 winners, and if you want to learn more about the giveaway, click the 4th link in the description or head on over right now to shoptechbuds.com. Shout out Ricky, what's going on? Matthew, what's up, what's up? So let's go ahead and break down CPS. I want to change it up. I want to break down stocks that we don't normally break down, and or just something new, right? Something new. I want to become aware of different stocks, hopefully stocks that are showing signs of a continuous uptrend. So I can see that CPS has gapped up 69%. It looks like we have been selling off since early 2021. One of my big focuses, and again, just because I don't see value in this doesn't mean that you can't. I'm a big believer that there's a lot of different ways on how to make money in the market. With that being said, this is consistently showing signs of a descending pattern. It's making lower highs and lower lows, and although it did gap up 69%, how many times has this thing gapped up to just sell right back off and make new lows later down the road, right? This is giving me big signs of a pump and dump, right? We could see with that volume bar that there's some form of manipulation. It could be news. It could be something that was released that's going to act as a short-term positive catalyst. Normally, based off previous patterns, they don't last for a very long period of time, and they end up selling off shortly after. So I would just be very careful with this. In my opinion, this is something that's too high risk for me with the dollar amount that I trade and just with the focus that I have right now in the market. There's so much opportunity out there. I just don't feel like I have to overcomplicate it and trade this aggressive. So what's going on, Anakin? So it says, hey, Ricky, I love your videos and Discord. In your opinion, is the market looking red or blue in these up and coming weeks? That's actually something that I was paying attention to right now. The NASDAQ futures are down a little bit. I think with Friday's sell-off, it's showing that the market was at a potential resistance level. I think this upcoming week will kind of determine if that bull pressure continues or if we actually begin to sell off. Because although we ended the week a little bit in the red, it gapped up so much that a lot of these stocks have a lot of margin to kind of like give back if they actually end up doing that. But we'll see, right? We'll see if we actually end up making some higher highs. I'm very excited to follow up. If you're part of our Learn Plan Profit group, I'll make sure that I keep you guys all up to date in the trade ideas section during the pre-market time, just to make sure that even before we go live for our live sessions tomorrow at Market Open, that you guys are aware if the market's opening up in the red or in the green. But I'm very excited to follow up. It's very uncertain right now. And I believe we have a CPI data report coming up soon, so I'll have to follow up with that as well. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So we got AMD. AMD had, if I'm not mistaken, a pretty strong rip up. Overall, was making lower highs, lower lows, right? Gapped down to lows of 71.60. But one of the things that a lot of people are calling out right now is to pay attention to what it has been doing prior to this rip. We have had times before where the market does rip and then it sells right back off. It rips once again, right? It rises. Let me just not use any slang term. It begins to rise. It makes lower highs and then it sells right back off and makes lower lows. This doesn't look to be any different. I mean, it's a little bit more consistent in the way that it gapped up, but looking at the RSI, looking at the MACD, and just looking at how we've been trading sideways for the past 2 to 3 business days, it wouldn't be much of a surprise based off of AMD's previous performance if it pulls back a little bit. And friendly reminder, these stocks pulling back shouldn't concern you, right? Because it really just means that we can get it at a cheaper price point. We can buy more at a cheaper price point based off of where they're currently at right now. So with that being said, I would set my alerts. If we do begin to pull on back, that would excite me as I get to pick up Amazon, AMD, Tesla, Apple at a cheaper price point, especially if my intention is to hold it for a long period of time. But my alerts are set. I actually have to move this one up a little bit just in case we end up pulling on back. I would love to see higher lows on AMD. So instead of, do you notice a pattern where every time it sells off, it goes lower than it did before? It sells off and it goes lower than it did before. I want to break that pattern. I want it to, if it does pull back, I want it to find a support around $90. So that would be right around that EMA on the day chart. Just any indication that it's not going to sell off as low as it did before. I think as long as we show a higher support level, that would be progress and a step in the right direction, and definitely something I'm very excited for. So, all right. Here it goes. So why are you recommending your viewers to buy overvalued stocks? I don't know if you're paying attention, but if anything said, I'm waiting for a pullback, right? So we don't do recommendations on this channel. I'm breaking down stocks based off of other people's suggestions. If you're a little hard of hearing, just let me know and I'll try to turn on the closed captionings for you just in case, you can't keep up with how quickly I speak. But just let me know, buddy. UPST. All right, so UPST definitely has been struggling, peaked at the end of 2021. It's been making lower highs and lower lows. One of the things that I do want to remind you is, again, direction is super important. And as of right now, I do not see there to be a reason on why to rush into anything like this. There's huge upside potential. That's great. There's a lot of stocks that offer very similar setups like this. But there's no reason, in my opinion, because of how much upside potential, that we would need to rush into anything like this. We can set our alerts in case, we think that, it's actually beginning to show signs of a recovery. But as of right now, it's been selling off for such a long period of time. I have this very simple words of encouragement for our Learn Plan Profit group. It's, don't force an opportunity, allow the opportunity to present itself. When you actually feel like you're missing out on a rally, that would be, if anything, more encouraging than trying to predict the bottom of something. As long as you have direction in your favor, I find that to be a little bit more important than trying to be perfect with your entry point, right? There's no such thing as a perfect entry, especially not in this market. Your job is not to be perfect as an investor or as a trader. Your job is just to make sure that you take advantage of an opportunity with a position size that you can tolerate. Let's go ahead, and we actually just did AMD, so never catch a falling knife. Exactly, very well said, right? All right, what are we going to do? So MAR, let's go ahead and break that one down. All right, so this is Marriott. Looks like it was showing signs of higher highs and higher lows. We peaked at 195. We recently pulled on back. What do you guys think in the comment section or in the live chat? It almost looks like what used to act as a support level, which is this moving average, is now acting as a resistance level. Do you see that? Do you see that consolidation right at that moving average? It looks like it's getting ready to potentially pull on back. So that would kind of be my determining factor of like what I would look out for. So I can set an alert here for the break above around 162, 163, but I would be very careful because it would suck to buy some here and then it just pulls right on back to previous support levels. So confirmation is super important for all of our traders that are part of LPP. I would set an alert here for the break below the EMA line. And if we actually do begin to sell off, then great, right? Let the sucker bleed. There's no reason to try to catch it when it's selling off. Let it bleed. The cheaper that it sells off, I mean, the better price that you can get it for. So 3 alerts, ready for a pullback, ready if it breaks above. But again, allowing the opportunity to present itself is what I think is most important. So BA, please. What's going on, Flameboy? I hope that I earn your thumbs up. Again, make sure to drop a thumbs up if you want me to break down your top stock. I really would appreciate it. So, all right, here we go. With Boeing, so let's actually look at airlines as a whole. Is that okay? Because I have Boeing actually in my airline watch list. So I want to see where everything else sits. We were actually talking about this with my LPP team. American Airlines is one that I've been watching for some time. I was actually waiting for it to break below $13, but it looks like it's already beginning to recover in a very similar setup to Boeing. If anything, Boeing almost looks like the better performer. It does look a little bit more on the overbought side. I don't know if you guys would agree with me, but it has like this like descending channel. This moving average is once again acting as a resistance. I'm just looking at previous resistance levels. Rejected by moving average, rejected by moving average, rejected by moving average, rejected by moving average. It's just this overlying resistance that is being weighed down by that moving average. So I would just tread lightly here. If you're already in Boeing, then great, you don't have anything to worry about. But if you're thinking about getting into Boeing, maybe I would wait for a little bit more confirmation for us to actually begin to trade above that 180 price point instead of trying to force an entry at these overbought levels. You can see with the RSI, you can see with the MACD, and potentially getting in, and then it ends up pulling right on back to previous lows. So that's kind of what I would look out for. Set an alert here for the break below EMA. If it begins to sell off, then again, you can let the sucker bleed and wait for it to get closer to that 113 price point, which is previous lows. It looks like most of its consolidation is right around 130 to around 140 a share. So I just want to make sure that you are aware of that. I wouldn't view Boeing as a day trade. It's too risky. Direction is not in your favor. Boeing, in my opinion, kind of like American Airlines, and it's not a safe investment, but I would view it as more of an investment because airlines haven't really recovered since the pandemic. I don't know if you've paid attention to this, but ever since that aggressive sell-off, I mean, they've slightly recovered, I guess, if you look at the lowest that it hit. But these things used to trade at around $30 a share, right? This is for American Airlines. Right now, we're trading 50% below that. So huge upside potential, right? Because when something drops 50%, that means that its upside is double that. So that means that its upside is, 100%. So please be aware of that. You don't need to rush into this, but have you asked yourself the question of like, do you see these airlines going out of business? And if so, I value, your opinion as your opinion. And if so, then I wouldn't touch these, right, with a 10-foot pole. But if you think that these airlines will eventually recover to previous highs, then maybe setting up a game plan on, what position size you are comfortable with, how much are you buying now, how do you intend to average up, all of that good stuff. And I think Boeing definitely falls under that category as, again, Boeing is nearly down 50% from where it was trading at based off of previous highs. So I think I did see a call out. Let me see what it is. We got Where are we at? So ENPH, let me go ahead and break that one down. ENPH, what's going on, Dallas? So hope that I earn your thumbs up in this video. ENPH, so looked very overbought. I love that you're focusing on stocks where direction is in your favor, but I think it's safe to say that it's super overbought, meaning that it's not a good deal. Anytime that it becomes this overbought, you can see that it has a tendency to pull back. It becomes overbought, pulls back. Becomes overbought, it pulls back. Pullbacks are inevitable, right? If you think that a stock will never pull on back, it's kind of like that AMC and the GME mindset where they think that when the stock pulls back that it's everyone else's fault. And it's like, no, you dummy, right? It's like if you've traded it long enough in the stock market, you're aware that everything pulls back. Even the most valuable companies that are publicly traded pull back. And it's not that the entire market is against you. It's that you understand that there's waves of demand and how they come in, right? Kind of just like this. When it becomes this overbought, you need to understand that you can either play it safe and reduce position size to anticipate a pullback, or you're just going to put yourself in a worse position when it's this oversold and then you have no more cash available to pick up at a lower price point. So I would say this is too overbought for me. I would say get ready for a pullback, and based off of previous patterns, the pullbacks tend to be pretty aggressive on when it does end up pulling back. So please just make sure that you're aware of that. While we're talking about it, why not talk about AMC? I know AMC definitely did have a very solid run the past week, if I'm not mistaken. It completely blew through its earnings. It dropped 10%, if I'm not mistaken, when it did report its earnings. But for some apparent reason, the bulls came out for the AMC hodlers and it gapped up 18% in one day. Now, I'm just going to show you this, right? You can hold if you want to hold. I'm never here to convince you to do anything if you want to do something, right? You're an adult. You're here to take advantage of opportunities that make sense to you. But with that being said, there has not been one time in history that AMC has ever pushed up without crashing just as fast and just as hard. And this literally happens all the time. It doesn't matter how much how much demand or how much it's gapping up, right? Eventually, the stock will always pull on back. Why? Well, look at their earning reports, right? AMC is not doing good. GME is not doing good. It's a movement. And if you want to be a part of that movement and you're okay with taking that risk, then kudos to you, right? I hope it plays out in your favor. But just looking at history, this has never happened before. And with that being said, it's definitely a safer route to lock in profits or reduce position size at overbought levels in preparation for a pullback. AMC can continue to rally, and I would take it day by day, right? If it does continue to showcase this type of momentum, I would day trade the heck out of it. No question about it, right? When direction is in your favor, I don't care what anyone else says. I know that there's money to be made, but it's when AMC begins to hit its resistance level, when it peaks, just like it has every single time, just like any other pump and dump, it crashes just as quick. So are you quick enough to day trade it? Or is it safer for you to just reduce position size and or lock in profits and prepare for that pullback? At the end of the day, I'm just here to make you aware of what has happened in the past before. If you want to continue to hold, then again, I hope that you know that I'm never here to convince you not to. It's just do not put yourself in a position that you simply cannot tolerate. And I want to respect your decision to hold or to not hold. I'm not here. I don't care, right? The amount of money that you make isn't going to bother me, or it's not going to do anything for me. I just want you to keep some profit in your pocket. So I hope that you have an exit plan and that it's not as narrow-minded as some of the people that think it's going to go to $100,000 a share. Or I don't even know if that's still a thing, but people truly did believe that. People would comment in my videos anytime that I would talk about AMC and like, you're going to regret this when AMC is trading at $1,000 a share or $10,000 a share or $100,000 a share. It's insane, right? But I hope you guys not prove me wrong. I'm not the one that you're trading up against, right? I wish you guys nothing but the best. I hope that, it does play out your way, but I do not believe it will. But again, let's see it happen. Meta. Moving on to the next one. We have Meta. Meta is showing signs of a support, right? A lot of consolidation down here. Meta is one of the things that I really liked about their earnings is that Meta, although it's still investing a lot into the metaverse, Meta, which was previously known as Facebook, as a tech company and with how much cash they have and with how they produce revenue, even at that alone, in my opinion, Meta is still undervalued. But that's just my opinion, right? With that being said, if the metaverse ends up panning out the way that they expect it to, I mean, there's a possibility that Meta can be the most underrated company right now based off of how it can 5 or 10x. And this is something that they shared, and there's a series of articles that were made on Meta based off of set expectation. If the metaverse ends up panning out how they expect it to, I mean, who's to know of what this thing can be valued at? Right now, it trades at a market cap of right under $500 billion. Could it be worth 2 to 3 trillion if it pans out the way that they expect it to? Definitely. But if it doesn't, it's obviously gonna take a couple of years of quarter after quarter eating up billions of dollars developing this metaverse. But nonetheless, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, which is their 3 main advertisement platforms. They call it their family platforms. Still doing very, very well in the sense of producing revenue. And the cash that they have available, it's still good, right? 100%. In the sense that someone just said Meta is struggling with advertisement. Every company is struggling with advertisement. Google, YouTube, right? Or Google owns YouTube, but Google, the largest platform for advertising, period, has been struggling with advertisement. Snapchat, Pinterest, Twitter, every advertisement platform is struggling. It's not just Meta. Meta, in the way that how they conduct business and how they produce revenue, look to their actual quarterly earning reports. Outperforms Snapchat, Pinterest, Twitter, all of those. I just feel like Meta, because of what it's known as, it's usually frowned upon anytime that it makes any mistake. There's a lot of people doubting Meta, and rightfully so. I feel like Mark Zuckerberg and stuff like that just have a lot of people preying on their hope for failure. Meta as itself and even how it sits right now, trust me, it's doing just fine in comparison to any other social media platform out there, excluding Google. Google's a freaking monopoly. It's a pretty beast machine. So, all right, let's go ahead and... So people don't trust the CEO of Facebook, I think. Yeah, I mean, they're just haters. They're like the people who don't like Elon, right? There's people who don't like every billionaire, anybody that does well, any person that tries something different. I do agree, right? You should question them. That's why it's so difficult to innovate in this world, because there's so many people that are so opinionated. I mean, think about it. Even you guys, right? You guys are watching my YouTube video. Why? I'm not entertaining, right? You're not watching me because I'm funny. You're watching me maybe because you want to do better. You're just getting into the stock market. You want to invest into your future. If you have this conversation with small-minded people of like, hey, I'm choosing to invest in a couple of stocks and just preparing and planning for a better future, I can reassure you that you will be made fun of for people that do not think the same way that you do. Anytime that you try to stray away from the norm, you will always see a number of people that will try to pull you down. This is why success is so idolized, but also so frowned upon, because either people admire your work ethic or they are jealous of it. I don't know what it would be, But I think from billionaires to even people like you and I, anytime that you try to do something different, there is always going to be a number of people that try to hold you back. And I think that this should just encourage you to be aware that, you want more out of life than the average person. And I feel like that should always be empowered. But again, people don't always think like you and I. So just want to remind you that, especially as we're going into this trading week, you don't need to figure things out right away. It's about simple progress every day for a long period of time that when you look back ends up leading to big results. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So that was a pretty big tangent, and I do apologize if I'm taking too much of your guys' time. Based off of previous highs, Apple, you guys have heard me say this before, Apple is a freaking machine. Apple is insane in the way that it trades. Apple is literally, it's the most valuable company that's publicly traded. Apple does its own thing. While the rest of the market is still struggling, Apple's like, hey, I'm going to start recovering. Even though that they announced that they're going to be laying off people, all of that stuff, Apple is super bullish right now. Do I think that it's a killer deal? No, not necessarily. Do I think that it can pull back? Definitely. It can maybe pull back to the moving average. It can maybe pull back to the EMA. I think at this point, Apple is really carrying most of the market based off of how much it's recovered. I've said this so many times. If you're part of my Learn Plan Profit group, you know that Apple has been one of the main stocks that I've been invested in, that I decided to buy and hold. And since the bottom, and again, I didn't get in at the very bottom. We have traders that got in at lower than 140. I didn't, right? I started buying at 140, 145, 150. I don't care. My job's not to be perfect, like I said many times, right? But Apple has gapped up already over 20% in just the past 2 to 3 weeks. Think about that. Not a trillion, 2.66 trillion is what it's gapped up. No one likes to talk about Apple because it's a safe and consistent investment. And guess what? It's not like Bitcoin. It's not lucrative. It's not creative. But guess what? What's the purpose that you're even here? The purpose is to make money. I don't care if I make $1 million buying and selling bread. If I make $1 million profit off of that, then so be it. I will buy and resell bread, right? Why are people so infatuated about always trying to overcomplicate the way that they choose to invest? I'm a big believer in innovation. Sure, you could have your risky plays. You can invest in, it's considered more risky, right? But you can invest in Meta. You can invest in AMD. You could invest in Tesla. But something like Apple and Amazon and Google, those aren't going anywhere. Why wouldn't you buy the dip on those? It's almost like guaranteed, right? Nothing's guaranteed in life. Let me rephrase that. But it's as guaranteed as it gets, especially in this market. And this is why I get so excited about when the markets sell off. You guys heard me talk about it when the markets were selling off. This is why I love the market when the markets begin to pull on back, because all I think about is just deals, deals, and deals. It's an opportunity for those that prepared for it. And this is something that I've been preaching from the very beginning with my Learn Plan Profit group, right? Talking about why it's so important to prepare for worst case scenario all the time. The only people that get scared of pullbacks are the people that did not prepare. So do you think that there's going to be a significant pullback with BBY's recent 33% increase? Heck yeah. Oh, I saw that too. Bed Baths and Beyond, right? Yeah. Gapped up 32%. Let me ask everyone in the live chat. So can you guys stop commenting? If I were to ask you, look at BBY's previous performance, right? And how it gaps up and pulls back in its current direction. What do you guys think? Is BBY something that you think is going to continue to rise from trading at $8 a share? Or would you expect it to pull all the way back down to $6? What do you think would make sense? If something gapped up, this 30% is huge, right? Can it continue to rally for a short period of time? Sure. But the more that it prolongs a pullback, the harder it will drop, right? That's when that selling pressure really kicks in. There has never been a time in history that something gaps up like this for not a solid reason and doesn't end up correcting itself. Every single time, where it's just like, if you want to continue to hold, then you hold. But at least for our focus is to not be afraid to lock in profits. And on our green days, we prepare for our red days. And on our red days, we prepare for our green days, right? I think it's just having a level-headed approach about the market. Not because I feel like I deserve anything, but because I know that everything in this market is earned and it can get taken away in a moment's notice if you do not anticipate or prepare for it. Alrighty, let me go ahead and do one or two more breakdowns, and then we'll call it a Sunday stock talk. So I hope that you guys have been enjoying this one so far. All right, let's go ahead and break down Save. Yeah, Save is Spirit Airlines, one of my favorite ones. Really low trading volume, and Save has definitely been struggling. It's kind of been trading sideways, testing this moving average. And again, one of the big things that I would look out for is, are you missing out by not being invested? Is this thing beginning to do something that it hasn't done before? In my opinion, it's not there yet. It looks like it's getting ready to drop just like it has before as it trades above the moving average. But as soon as anything begins to sell off, this thing will most likely follow. So again, don't sell yourself the opportunity. Really allow it to present itself. And I'll set my alerts as well. I would love to see higher highs and higher lows to be trading above $28, something that it recently hasn't done. But again, when you see that we're approaching previous resistance levels, you can't think that this time it's any different. Anytime you begin to feed yourself that mentality, I just know, and I can only speak from my experience, I've put myself in more trouble than not anytime that I think that way. Of like, no, this time it has to be different. You know who I think about anytime that I think like that? I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about the meme traders. Oh no, this time the squeeze is happening. This time it's different. And then guess what? It sells off and they blame everyone else for why things are happening. Let's see. All right. So HKD, we talked about that already. A complete pump and dump. I wish I could short it. I'm not gonna break it down in this video. I already made a video about it. Let's do Roku. Roku has been super bearish. There was significant news, but again, Roku's just been struggling. A lot of these streaming platforms, the ones that have been doing it for a while, have been struggling based off of up and coming competition. And I don't think Roku is going to see that light at the end of the tunnel of once again trading at $500 a share. It's been so bearish for so long. One saying that we have, and again, you guys can quote me on this, it's the cheap can always get cheaper. I mean, Roku was cheap at $100. It was cheap at $150. It was cheap at $200. Cheap is relative to what previous prices were at. Roku just isn't indicating signs of an uptrend, and because of that, I would be very, very careful with forcing an entry with the understanding that nothing has to recover to previous highs, especially when it was during pandemic conditions. Please, please, please make sure that you're aware of that. We always have this spam thing that, do people ever actually click on that? Like adult dating websites? No way. So Melanie Hutchison, I purposely didn't break down your stock. You're spamming our chat. Come on, homegirl. And then you just told me to go eat poop. I'm pretty sure is what you said. It honestly cracks me up. You're spamming the chat in ways that it's more disrupting than anything. And for that, I would rather just not even break down your stock. If you're going to be disrespectful or insensitive to other people, I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you make. I'm here to try to be a value for you. And if you're being disrespectful to other people in the chat, you're insignificant to me. You're of no value, right? You can kick rocks and go on with your day. So, Ricky, do you play options? I do not. So I view them to be a little bit too risky for my taste. If you want to learn how to trade options, I think that's great. I would just really focus on the learning part. The making money part in anything comes later, right? So please just don't get caught up into the idea of needing to always maximize each position when you're just learning how to do something. So okay, let me spam some more things for you. Of course, I don't care. It probably just boosts my engagement on the live. Yeah. So you just hate women, huh? Yep, you're right. This is why I am dating Rachel, right? I'm with Rachel and I have a baby daughter now. So I do not like ignorant people. So what's going on, Lux? So yeah, let's do Tesla. I think Tesla is a given that we have to break down due to the performance on Friday and its cyber roundup that it had on Thursday, right? A strong rejection that we experienced on Friday, and this was shortly after its cyber roundup shareholder meeting that it had. A lot of selling pressure. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it does find a support level. Tesla trades very differently. It doesn't trade like $1 billion company. It's nearly $1 trillion company. Tesla normally doesn't trade like many others. It's insane of how aggressive and how much buying pressure can be squeezed in within a very short period of time. But also when it sells off very aggressively. So I would just be very careful. Right now, I'd be uncertain. I would love to buy some Tesla right around $800 a share, right around that moving average or that EMA line. I'd love to load up and add more to my position, but I don't even know if we're going to get to that. I want to stay patient. If we do begin to indicate signs of an uptrend, so if we no longer make lower lows, then I'm just going to have to average up into it as we make our way back to 12 or 1300. I do believe one of the things that I wanted to provide as a recap based off of that cyber roundup, one of the things that Elon said that I didn't make a video about it because it was hosted in that live stream, but I thought I would share it with all of you guys and I hope that you appreciate it. Elon said that his biggest focus, although he's known for SpaceX and for Tesla and the vehicles that they make, oh shoot, it looks like my camera just overheated. Give me one quick second. Let me actually change this. So, all right. Can you guys see me okay? Can you guys still see me? Test, 1, 2, 3. Did it transition into... Let me know if you guys can see me. Yeah, we're good? Okay. All right, just wanted to make sure. So one of the things that I really liked about what Elon said is it's his Optimus robot. He thinks that it's going to create such a disruption in our economy because of GDP and how its metric of scale is per person that can work. He thinks that by this Optimus robot that Tesla is developing, it's a need that the world doesn't know it needs yet. He thinks that that will be the actual invention or creation that Tesla will be known for, of the value that these Optimus robots bring to the world. He thinks that from where it currently sits, that at that point it will become, and once it's full in effect, that Tesla will then become the most valuable company that's publicly traded. Of course, that's a very, very strong statement. There's a lot of things that Elon has said in the past before that doesn't always follow through with. But with that being said, I have heard and I have seen many different articles of him shifting his focus from the Cybertruck and all these semi trucks to the Optimus because of how he thought that this AI robot was going to be so valuable to the entire world. At that point, if that's the case, and if Tesla does end up meeting that expectation, you got to think. I mean, the most valuable company right now that's publicly traded is Apple, and it recently hit a $3 billion market cap when it was at its all-time highs. At that point, Tesla right now is 1/3 of that. So that means that Tesla one day, based off of current price points and prior to any stock splits, will be trading at around $3,000 a share. Obviously, with the 1-to-3 split that they announced, at that point, it's just going to be trading at $1,000 a share. But now you'll just have 3 times more shares available in the entire market. I think that's really just it. So yeah, 3 trillion. What did I say? Did I say 3 billion? I meant 3 trillion. Yeah, 3 times of where we're at as of right now. All right. Well, let me see. I just want to make sure that you guys could see me okay. But yeah, I didn't want to take too much of your guys' time. I think we broke down a little bit over 10 different stocks within this live stream. And I had a lot of fun. One of the things that I did want to actually show you guys, I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about it before, but when it comes down to our Shop TechBud site, our giveaway actually ends tonight. So it's on August 7th, which is today. So tonight at midnight, we have our TechBud Staycation giveaway ending. This is the 4th link in the description of this video. And for every $1 you spend on the site, you automatically get entered 10 times. So this mouse pad would earn you 300 entries towards our staycation giveaway. So for those that are unaware, again, this ends tonight. We're selecting 3 winners for an all expenses paid trip where you're going to be staying at one of our Airbnbs right next to the HQ. And we have a 3-day event planned with our team here in Arizona. And again, this is the first time that we've ran a type of staycation like this. And the only way to enter is, again, you can head on over to shoptechbuds.com or click the 4th link in the description to learn more about the details. But a reminder, for every $1 you spend, it equals 10 automatic entries. We have everything from mousepad, day trader art, we have flags, we have trading apparel, whatever it is that you need, it's available at shoptechbuds.com. Just wanted to make sure that you guys are reminded. The only last thing that I do want to make sure that you guys are aware of is, again, if you guys have been waiting for a discount for Learn Plan Profit 2.0, right now we're running a $100 off, and it's that 2nd link in the description of this video, and you can watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow. So again, Learn Plan Profit is a one-time payment, lifetime access, and yes, you do get access to all the updates, and now it's $100 off for those that want to take part in it. So I really do appreciate your guys' time. For those that are tuning on in a little bit later to our live stream, this video will process and then it will re-upload on my YouTube channel. So I hope that I earned your thumbs up in this video. I hope that you can consider subscribing if you guys haven't done so already. And for all the people that are part of my Learn Plan Profit group, I will see you tomorrow at Market Open for our live trading session. So please make sure that you set your alarms. I really do appreciate you guys' time. Melanie, I hope that you go kick rocks. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.